Hey everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with the third project for Scrappy Tails. Now I have to admit, this is something that takes me out of my comfort zone because it is one of those pop-up cards. You know, interactive is not my strong suit. It's not my go-to, but I like being challenged. I like coming out of my comfort zone. I am going to pair the Slimline pop-up die with the outline tulips, which I thought were really pretty. So let's start with the tulip. So I did a lot of die cutting, got all my die cutting done first. So did all of that off of camera. And you've got 5 different tulip shapes, and you've got 2 different green shapes. So now I'm just separating it out and creating my piles. I'm going to be using my alcohol markers, my Prismacolors, and I chose 2 shades of each. Alcohol marker coloring is not, it's not my go-to. So I keep it simple, if that makes sense, and I use 2 colors. But this is the way how I start out, and I keep practicing with them. So what I do for each of the images, I'm using a lighter shade to put down the base. And this is great for those of you that, you know, maybe you don't have multiple colors cardstocks. You could use markers. And then I'm coming in with a darker shade and just swiping, flicking from the bottom, which will give a shadow that'll come up from the bottom of the piece. All right. And that's all I'm doing. It's very simple. Again, nothing that I need to think about. Because alcohol markers are, they're challenging for me. Just to get that process down. I do tend to, when it comes to alcohol markers, I like the flicking method. If that makes sense. Yeah. You know, you could, where you're doing a character, you don't necessarily have a flicking method, but you have, these different areas. I do like to flick the colors. So maybe that means I only like to color florals. I guess. I don't know. But I do. But I keep practicing with them. I'll always keep practicing. Because as we practice, we get stronger. And we also, let's face it, we also find out what we like and what we don't like. There is so much in this wonderful paper crafting world where, we can pick and choose what we like and what we don't like. What we want to look at and what we don't want to look at. What we want to try and what we don't want to try. We determine what our favorite is. Now, what we need to make sure, though, is our favorite is not just our comfort zone. We need to always step out of our comfort zone. And alcohol markers always makes me step out of my comfort zone. Always. What I do know is that no, I will not go into Copics. And again, there are different price break, price value when it comes to that product. I do like the Prismacolors. I think they work very well. My favorite when it comes to alcohol markers, because I get asked this a lot, are the Altenew. They take the thinking right out of it. I don't have to look at what the chart is and what's going to go with what and what should blend with what. It's already done for me, and that's what I like about it. So now we're just finishing up with the leaf part, the stem part. So I had 3 shades of green. So on one, I would use the lightest shade and then come in with the flicking on the medium shade. And then for some others, I would use the medium shade as the base and then come in with the darker shade, which is what you're watching here. Again, I just love the flick when it comes to that. I like the different texture that you get, even though 9 out of 10, the alcohol markers, they actually even out. So it doesn't matter how it looks as you're coloring it. I chose to have 4 colors for my tulips. So I chose a blue. I know they don't come in blue, but I wanted blue. The blue, the darker pink, the pink, and the yellow. And then I kept the outline white. I loved how that looked. I just really liked the way that the white just popped it all off. You can see these are all of the pieces that I cut. So I cut 2 for the pop-up mechanism. And then I did cut more than what I needed, because really I only needed 2 of these that I'm bending right now, getting ready, because they do have the score lines on them and they're perfect. But I only needed 2, so you don't need 3. I mean, you could put 3. I mean, that's not a problem, but I only used 2. So now let's start constructing our box. I'm going to set these pieces aside because, again, I have in my head what I'm looking to do. When I'm constructing a box like this, I do like to use double-sided tape. You can use glue, but it's got to be a quick reacting glue. Because you just need to make sure that you have something very strong, very secure. The double-sided tape that I really like is actually the stuff that comes in the Spellbinders card kit. It is really strong. I also like, of course, Scores tape. I think that stuff is very strong as well. And I do like the Lawn Fawn. Theirs is pretty good too. I like to keep these pieces bent because then I know there's one way that this card is always going to go flat. And it's this way right here. So you can see it's not bowed. Now when I go the other way, it bows a little bit, which is fine. This is only going to flip one way. And as you keep bending it, it'll get better. Everything's just got to seed into itself. I'm going to use my paper creaser just to push all of these down just a little bit. And I use the back of my pop-ups to write my note. So now I'm going to put the insides or the inside barricades in. I call them barricades. Or guidelines, whatever you want to call them. Again, I am going to use double-sided tape because I'm going to have immediate adhesion between these 2 pieces. Now this piece is very simple to have set up because it's going to be pushed right up to the back. I only want a small gap between this line and the back of the card. So now I'm just going to bend that down, and then you can see I've got this cute little wave that's going in. I'm only going to put my second one. So you can see all 3 would fit, by all means. You would just have a lot. And look, I was good. What I was envisioning for this was a field of tulips just popping up all over, because that's just what I envisioned. I think it'd be awesome. So just making sure that this, now I'm not worried about if this one is straight, so I'm very much eyeballing it, which I'm okay, but you can see I'm always taking that box down the way that I know it's going to fall the best, and just making sure. So now I'm just looking at the flowers and saying, okay, how high do I want to come up? When it comes to a card like this, will it fit in an envelope? Absolutely. Absolutely, it will fit into an envelope. I believe it's called a size 10. One of my followers got me hooked on that. Of just, instead of getting the card specifically for Slimlines, I actually use, again, I think it's a number 10 size envelope. So I've got room for it to be wider. I've got room for it to grow. And of course, add all the dimension in the world that I want, which is awesome. Because you guys know me. I love my double-sided foam squares. I love my dimension. I love my chipboard pieces. I love the messy look. It's just a lot of fun. So there's all of our flowers. You can see all of that blending the shading that we added just comes right through around those white outlines that we have. So now I'm going to focus on those panels that are built to go up on those flaps, whether they stay up for the back, come down for the front, and all that. So that area. So I pulled out my oxides, tumbled glass, and broken china, and I'm just creating what's going to look like a sky. So I'm making sure that there's some white spots in there, not a full solid blend. And I'm adding some double-sided tape to the back of this panel. This panel is going to go to the back. Now, by all means, you could take that entire panel that's going to sit in the back of the tulips. You don't need this piece to put onto that. But I do like the white border. It kind of accents the tulips, the way that they're outlined. So I put that one to the back. Now, the three that are left, the two side and the one in the front. Now I'm going to use my greens. So I'm going to use Twisted Citron, or Citron, however you want to say that. And then I'm going to use Mowed Lawn. So I'm coming in with that one first, making sure that there's a nice solid coverage of that. And then the blending brushes that I'm using are makeup brushes that I got off of Amazon. I do have blending brush sets for both my dyes and my oxides. I don't want to combine them. So that's just something that I do recommend. Some people do. That's fine. Whatever works for you. I just know me and my luck. So I'm now adding the Mowed Lawn down to the bottom because, again, the way that these are sitting, I want the dark to be down on the bottom with the light coming towards my tulips. And you'll see why. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add my double-sided tape and I'm going to adhere them onto the panels. And you can see, so now that I have all of those panels up, so I've got the sky and then I've got grass. That's what I was looking for it to be. Now we're just going to play with the placement of our tulips, making sure that things are different, things that they're set on different levels. I'm making sure that I'm checking the height, but I'm just having fun. I am just placing them. Here is where I will use my liquid adhesive, because the only spot where I can put the liquid adhesive, when it comes to the very back, I'm putting some right up against the back wall. So that back wall is going to stay up. It's not going to fold down. Okay? So I'm putting that directly onto the tulips. I want them to come up. I want them to just be all over the place and just have fun with those. Of course, I'm throwing them because that's what I do, because I get carried away. Okay, so that's our first level. All right, they're at different heights, different colors, and now we're just going to have fun. Now I'm building off of that next bridge, that first bridge that I put in as I was constructing the Slimline pop-up. Now I've got to put the glue on that bridge, on that spacer bar that's going across. So the liquid glue does help right now, because, and the art glitter glue is pretty quick. It is pretty quick to move, and to make sure everything's in place. I like when I work on a pop-up, and I have worked on them before, I found this is the easiest way to build everything together. I know I'm looking at it upside down, but it just helps me to turn it upside down and just see, okay, this is where I want this, this is where I want this. Okay, I want to push this one down just a little bit more. I want to pull this one up just a little bit more, because I don't want everything even. I want it to have a different layer and a different feel. Now, the only thing that was, there's a couple things that I could have done here. So those bars that I put in, I could have put green on that, just to cover those up. But I came up with another way. But first, I'm still playing with the new oxide color, Kitsch Flamingo. I'm just loving, and I'm not truly a pink person. I mean, I like pink, but I'm not that, okay, pink. I'm kind of purple. Purple's my color. So, but I wanted the panels around the outside, and again, just on the two sides and the front. The back I'm leaving alone because that's where I would write my message when it comes to the card, when I give it to somebody. But I thought with this being, that pink being down there, and just a hint of it, and with those flaps coming down with the green, what a perfect springtime card. I mean, this screams spring, as I've been dealing with multiple ice storms, snowstorms, and everything else. So this is the final project. Now, I'm really tipping it up so that you can see it. But what I did was I pulled out one of my grass dies that I had and created grass. So that's why I wanted that light color right up at the top. I have that going just below the tulips. I love this. It is a sea of tulips, which I think is great. I used one of the sentiments that came with the pop-up Slimline, and it just simply says, best. I like the off-cuff type of sentiments. You know, it doesn't have to be thinking of you. Just always best. Best of everything. Best thoughts. So I do hope you enjoyed that. I hope you liked that I merged two projects together. And again, that is exactly what you can do. I think it's great that it's a Slimline pop-up. How ingenious. And she's got all kinds of different shapes. So please make sure, go to her shop. If nothing else, but just by going to that shop, that helps our new entrepreneurs as well. But I know once you get there, you are going to find something that you just must have. So enjoy. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below. I know Sabrina will be keeping an eye out as well as I will for any questions that you may have for Scrappy Tails. She will be available to answer them also. Smile, laugh, giggle. But remember, 2021. Yep, eventually I'm going to stop saying this. It is the year of the creator. So always, always be creative. Take care, everyone. Until next time.